Avery, whose show is this? Well, Raj, I was ready to talk about a 7-game win streak. I was ready to talk about being undefeated at home.
Yeah.
I was ready to talk about the strides forward that the Lakers are taking here. I was ready to talk about LeBron and AD being incredible. Instead, here's my general analysis on this game.
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That was a win. You played 48 minutes and 40-something seconds of winning basketball and walk away with a loss because you can't make free throws down the stretch. How you holding up, bud?
That's rough. That was a hell of a rough ending. I think I told you before we went live. I didn't even watch the AD free throws. I assumed they were going in. Anthony, he was 9 for 9 from the free throw line before he split a pair, I believe, and then he got the chance again to put it away. And I just assumed he at least would hit one. Yeah, it's crazy how 1 point changes the whole vibe of not just this game, but like how the season is going. Now you look at the schedule, and before it's like, oh, we have a chance to really put some wins up, really separate yourself from the bottom half of this Western Conference. And then now it's like, oh shoot, you got Denver coming up, you got on the road in Phoenix, you got Oklahoma City coming up in a few games, the Spurs again, who played us really tough. Yeah, that's just a terrible loss, and you've been pointing out online how there's future implications of it, but just even in the present moment, it was kind of this huge Dalton Connect coming out party, and the Magic kind
Another
of
one, yeah.
yeah, and the Magic kind of came and turned that off tonight. Franz with 15 in the fourth, 37 for the game. We did some wonky stuff with him, put Dalton Connect on him for a little while. It was really kind of strange stuff, but yeah, in aggregate, this is just a terrible, terrible loss.
The Lakers played really small this game against a big physical team. And I know some of it is out of necessity. Rui is out,
Yep.
obviously Wood and Hayes are both out. Koloko only played 10 minutes in this one, which the
Yeah.
Magic were playing like some two big lineups there for a bit where you had Mo and Jonathan Isaac out there at the same time. At one point you had like Max at the 4.
Out
And
of
like
that.
you mentioned it, like down the stretch, you had Franz Wagner, who finished the tonight with in 39 minutes, 37 points, 11 assists, and 6 rebounds. Like, Cam wasn't out there to try to slow him down at all down the stretch. You had D'Lo out there in stretches of the game where you needed stops. It was just I felt like JJ kind of took this win for granted in some stretches. And I think nothing more summarized that with like the final shot that he drew up, which was for some reason a fall away 2-pointer for AD. Maybe to try to redeem himself for that. Like it's just a really weird coaching game from this one. And just like really quickly, you mentioned it off the top. How this game is going to hurt later. Last year, like a win separated being either in the 9 spot or the 7 spot, or the 9 spot, or the 8 spot or the 6 spot. Like we're talking about either having to play a game is going to wind up separating, either having to play in the play-in with home court advantage and needing to win an extra game in those do or die settings, or potentially not having to play at all, depending on the tiebreakers. And at the end of the season, we're going to look back on this. You're going to say, yeah, remember that one stupid loss early in the season that they had to Orlando, or the really, really dumb loss that they had to Detroit, right? Where they just didn't show up for that game. Like, those are the things that at the end of the season when you're like, fuck, I really wish we didn't have to play so and so. Like, at this point, right now, you look at the standings, it's like Luca waiting for you in the play-in
Right.
game potentially, you know? It's like, I don't want to play Luca in the play-in game. You know,
Yeah.
it's just and like that's where I know fans a lot of time we've been kind of trained for this, Raj. Like a lot of the conversation when it comes to the NBA regular season is how like games don't matter night in,
Right.
night out. But in the Western
Less value.
Conference, you're goddamn like it's just wrong.
Right.
All of these games matter in the Western Conference and for playoff seedings and for playoff or play-in opportunities. Like all of these games are going to matter. And when you drop one where you were up for like the vast majority of the game and you led by like what was it, 5 with 2 minutes to go, like you
Yeah.
can't squander those opportunities and not feel them at the end of the season.
And also just, adding to that, the Lakers are in a, interesting position because their stars are also actually LeBron James at least is 39 years old. And I remember after the Utah game, we were talking, and I thought that was a game where LeBron never had to put his foot on the pedal. It was a very relaxed kind of win, even though Utah, made it interesting at a few points in the game. Anthony, this was a tough game. Like, Orlando is physical as hell, and LeBron put up 31, 10, and whatever assists he had. And really, I thought went for it, was really protecting the rim, was getting super physical rebounds, right? Orlando sends a lot of players to the offensive glass, and one of the teams that's really crashed the glass because of how poor of a shooting team they are on most nights. At least tonight, they hit a lot of threes, especially Jalen Suggs. But this was a hard LeBron game. You don't really want to waste that either. I know AD is going to be the blame. He's going to take most of the blame for this game. And, as he should with missing both free throws, but AD still put up 39, you know what I mean? And again, on hard minutes against this Orlando team, you don't want to waste those type of performances. Waste isn't the right word, but you want to take advantage of when they, put up those type of numbers. They both combined for like almost 80 points in this one. That's a really tough loss to hit, especially just, at the end of the game winner. Like those are the worst ones, especially, right after you miss 2 free throws. But yeah, I think the LeBron war of attrition part of this too is tough. Right now you're getting both LeBron and AD healthy. They're playing all the games, Anthony. They're playing back-to-backs as well. Orlando was on a second night of a back-to-back. Maybe that matters less for a young team, but yeah, this was a physical, tough, grinded out game. And I was going to come out here. I was ready to say this is one of our best wins. I see even without Paolo, people have mentioned that consistently. They're playing well. They're well coached. They're super physical. They execute. They just don't shoot the ball well. But obviously tonight that was a different case. We can talk. I guess I could see on our board. Our defense was a large part of that. But yeah, this is a tough one to take, especially with the mileage that I don't think they were super high minutes, but these were tough, hard fought minutes for our stars.
They combined for 70 points, right? LeBron goes for 31. I made the 80-point mistake earlier too.
Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking
so
that.
so it's 70. They combined for 70 points, 19 rebounds, 9 assists, 4 blocks. It's just killer. I will say this about AD's game tonight though. 9 boards is kind of low. It's tough. Like I know he scored 39 and like for the most part was incredible. And I know the free throws are going to be what everybody kind of talks about, but I thought he was pretty lazy when it came to defensive rebounding and positioning there. And I thought that Orlando created some extra opportunities as a result of that. I look, I think the player who's kind of skating by when it comes to blame in this one is Austin. I thought he was really bad tonight. 3 of 12 from the floor, 1 of 4 from 3-point range, 2 of 5 from the free throw line. Only had 3 assists, was a team low, tied for the team low, -8 tonight. I thought Orlando's really physical defensive, their guards really bothered Austin all game. And look, like we're talking about how the Lakers are kind of planning for Austin to be their point guard moving forward and how they need to acquire a more physical shooting guard. And you could kind of get away with Austin's non-traditional ball handling because you have LeBron out there, because you have AD out there operating as the hub. But I thought Austin was really struggling to get the offense into their sets on time tonight. He did a lot of that thing where, he was looking to get the ball to AD to get for AD to bring the ball up, or getting the ball to LeBron to bring the ball up. He just didn't look comfortable at all out there. And this is the kind of defense he's going to be facing in the playoffs, so maybe not specifically from Jalen Suggs, who is, by many accounts, one of the better, if not the best perimeter defender in the NBA. But like that kind of physical, in your grill all night kind of defense where officials let some shit go, like that's what he's going to be dealing with. And to me, like, as much as we want to talk about the free throws going to happen, like that's going to happen. LeBron and AD, again, I don't really necessarily trust them down the stretches of games to make free throws. But to me, if I was going to have a macro takeaway from this one, it's Austin needs to be better against that kind of pressure.
He does. And I thought tonight, obviously Austin was a big part of this, but just Orlando's physicality along with the officials letting a lot of contact go. And they let some go on the other side as well.
It's a Seahawks thing, right? Like if you foul on every play, eventually you train the referees to not call stuff.
Seahawks. Yeah. And so there
yeah, this
that's a team. But yeah, they let a lot of physicality go, and I thought that got into Austin's head. And some of those were like pretty blatantly. There were some hard ones on LeBron. I thought LeBron got super frustrated as well. He was driving to the rim. They weren't giving him the call. They were giving Jonathan Isaac a lot of they were like letting a lot of his contact go. I thought Jalen Suggs was able to basically play a term you're using, football on the perimeter there. I thought he was able to be really physical at the point of attack. And you're right, that's a lot of physicality that they allow. But Austin's very good at kind of getting that contact and, showing that it's a foul and getting to the line. I thought some of those calls that he's used to, he didn't get. They kind of it got him frustrated where, I don't know, was that his first technical of the year, Anthony? I have to look, but I believe
the Lakers were chippy all night. Like LeBron, I thought was going to get a T at 1.2 tonight.
Yeah. Jalen Suggs, by the way, just enjoying every minute of of the shots that were going in for him, smiling at the Lakers bench, smiling at the Orlando bench. But his physicality at the point of attack, and I thought our resistance was really bad. There was a play, I think it was D'Lo just let Anthony Black, who it was, just get a layup, and LeBron kind of I thought was giving him a message about that on the next play. But yeah, tough one for Austin, and that's gonna happen. I mean, I kind of still trust Austin to kind of figure that out. I think he's shown enough up there to give a little bit of the benefit of the doubt there. But the point of attack defense has to get better. We gave up switching way too much. Like we just allowed them to get whatever switch they wanted. It was a simple brush screen, and we would simply allow whatever defender Franz wanted to guard him. And that's the reason JJ eventually was like, all right, Dalton, you just guard Franz. No more screens. Like we're not guarding any of this. You guard him. And, Franz did what Franz Wagner does, cooked him kind of late there in the fourth.
I want to stay on the guards, though, before we move on to like the defense stuff, because you look at the guard play tonight. So Dalton was good, right? 17 points, 7 of 14 from the field, 3 of 7 from 3-point range.
Mm-hmm.
Had that one stretch that like it was another one of those stretches that got the crowd really going. Mm-hmm. Was a +5 on the night. But outside of him, you had Austin, who we just talked about. Gabe Vincent played 14 minutes, didn't get a shot up. D'Angelo Russell, D'Angelo, Jalen Suggs, man. Like this is the thing with Gabe. It's like everybody, if we're gonna keep on saying how like, well, Gabe sure tries his ass off on defense, Suggs was freaking punking him all night. Like
Orlando did not see him. They did not see him. They shot right over him. Juwan Howard's son, I forgot his name, who's on the Orlando Magic, was shooting right over him as well. Gabe does try. It's just Jet. But there's a point where your height is your height. So like no matter how perfectly you defend, teams are just gonna shoot over you. And his offense, Anthony, is so damaging that bar is just leaning way too far on the side where he's hurting the team.
Let's see. D'Angelo Russell, 23 minutes, 3 of 10 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3-point range. Did have 6 assists, was a +2 on the night. But like, if that's your trio of point guards, Austin, D'Lo, and Gabe, That's how you lose a game where LeBron and AD combined for 70. When you have that poor of guard play from all three of them, where
Yeah.
Gabe was a complete non-factor offensively and was getting punked defensively. D'Lo still, like, I've given him a ton of credit for the way that he has accepted that 6-man role, but eventually, dude, knock down some shots and like takes. He was like passing up. There was a possession. I don't know if it was in the third quarter. Might
The
have
one
been
where
in
he
the fourth.
swung it to Cam. Was it that one? I forgot which exact.
No, it was like he was dribbling the ball up, and it was one of those situations where last year he was dribbling the ball up on the right wing, and he picked up his dribble, and the defender ran away from him, and he like went to go like to take the shot, and would have been wide open. Now it would have been like a whatever the 3-point line is. It was like a couple feet behind the 3-point line, but it was a D'Lo shot,
Yeah.
and he didn't take it. The ball swings around, and then Austin basically had 8 seconds to try to get to the rim. I think he eventually either got to the rim and got fouled, or was contested at the rim, whatever. But it was like D'Lo still doesn't look comfortable, and whoever this player is going to be, we talked about like the kind, or I talked about in yesterday's show is in response to a mailbag question, like how do the Lakers avoid these lulls that they have, whether it's at the starts of games or throughout the game. They need a fifth player in that closing lineup, whether it's Rui, who needs to be better defensively, whether it's Max, who needs to be better offensively. Maybe it's Vando, but he has his own offensive questions. Maybe it's D'Lo, but he has his defensive questions. And now his comfort level on the court with Austin and LeBron at the same time, whether it's Gabe, who just doesn't want to shoot, whether like we could keep on going down this line. I think the four guys that I think we can comfortably say belong on the court at the beginning and at the end of games is Austin, Dalton, LeBron, and AD. They need that fifth guy. Right. Like and they're really, fortunate that Dalton is the fourth guy.
Insane.
Because otherwise you would have some questions about like, we would be in the same exact spot we were last year. Was like, who's 4 and 5 here? Like,
Yeah.
We need to fit in. So like the Lakers are kind of getting lucky in that their rookie is ready to step into that fourth spot there, but who's going to be the fifth guy? And I thought tonight, like, as much as I think JJ did some weird stuff over the course of the game, and certainly down the stretch of it, to a certain extent, I can't really necessarily blame him because I don't think he knows who that fifth guy is going to be. And he just kept throwing shit at the wall, hoping that somebody would stick. And it just, none of them did. There was no fifth player tonight who looked like they belonged on the court down the stretch of this game.
Yeah. And the sad part is, again, we don't have to discuss Vando, but I mean, and Rui being out, that's what, like, I think $30 million of a year in terms of, wing that's on the bench. You talked about all the questions, Anthony. I have one answer is that I know I do not need to see any more Gabe at small forward or D'Lo at small forward units. Like, I don't, that is against bad teams, you can get away with it. And I know Orlando can be seen as a bad team, but they're a huge physical team. And like, I thought those stretches, we went up 10, I think, I forgot, in the fourth or third. And then we went super small. And I thought they came back like right away. They got a lot of corner threes. They got to the rim. And it's just too small a lineup. And I think that's where you're really missing another forward. Again, like I do think Gabe is trying defensively, but if he's your third, like if he's your wing stopper in a unit, there were times where we put him on Franz on purpose. Like, all right, Gabe, go get Franz Wagner. And Franz is like, all right, thank you very much. Like, let me get into the post. Let me get a floater on, let me get to my floater game. We just have one extra guard, and that's been the case for a while now. And like that, maybe you can put the 6-game winning streak even to a better context. But yeah, I'm done with those units at least. And like D'Lo, they said on the broadcast today, Anthony, I was surprised. D'Lo has not scored 20 points yet this season.
Yeah, I saw that. I heard that too.
Yeah, I just looked up. He's only scored in double digits once in his last 5 games. So like he's playing better off the bench, but his offense has tanked in terms of his own scoring. And I think you can even tell when he's playing, he's much more just trying to fill in the flow. I didn't really like I don't know about you. I didn't like the sub to put D'Lo in late for like offense. That dude was in no rhythm at all to play. But yeah, his offense looks like it's taken a hit for sure. I think he's tried to accept the bench role, but hey, you're gonna lose, the offense production when you cut his minutes from 30 to like whatever they're at now. And the defense is still just, I don't know. D'Lo's already at such a low bar, even when he tries, but like when he's not engaged defensively, it sticks out. And I thought tonight was one of those nights.
Maybe this is indicative of a bigger problem, but I thought they needed Cam out there for more minutes. Like if I'm sitting here saying like, down the stretch of the game is like, where's Cam? Franz was killing the Lakers, and Cam picked up 2 fouls early in the game, did knock down a couple of shots. Like I thought actually kind of composed himself over the course of it, and wound up finishing with only 21 minutes. And again, like this is one of those, I said earlier on that it felt like JJ was kind of taking this one for granted. Like I think he was trying to get Max going, and they're really trying to for Max to be that fifth guy. But the problem with Max being the fifth guy is that like it forces Dalton or Max to be the small forward, and that makes you really small. I thought like against this team with how physical they were playing, with the way that they were crashing the boards, the Lakers needed more length and athleticism out there, and I just didn't understand why Cam was out there. It was weird. He subbed in, played like 2 possessions, and then was taken right out. I went back and I tried to look like the reason that Cam would be taken out, and I didn't really see it. I don't know if JJ thought they needed more offense or what, but the problem with bringing D'Angelo Russell in for offense when you have Austin and LeBron and AD out there is D'Lo, like he has told you now for years, plural, he is not a floor spacer. He is not a catch and shoot type of guy. He is just not comfortable doing that. So if you're putting D'Lo out there for the sake of the other team, like, racing to contest on D'Lo, it's just not going to happen. Like D'Lo at this point, he does this pump fake. It's like this way overstated pump fake that he does. And it's like, no, man, just
much
shoot.
Tougher shot.
Yeah, just shoot. Like, just hop into your shot and let it rip with a little bit of confidence. And he's not shooting with any confidence. So it's like, so you're going to play either a D'Lo with no confidence offensively and no rhythm offensively with all of the defensive questions that he's going to have. I'd rather bank on the guy who I know is going to at least compete defensively, and has the physical tools to compete and impact the game defensively.
Yeah, I thought this was a game for your large adult son, honestly. I thought Max should have played more. He played 25 minutes, and I was like, that dude's 21. Like, let him play the third, let him play the fourth. That dude can play. I thought he was the best kind of help defender. He was doing, he was helping the helper a lot. He was being physical down there with Goga, who again was not playing basketball in some possessions, I thought. But Max was really good on the boards. He was 2-hand rebounding. I thought he was cutting nicely. I don't even think he took a 3. All his shots were like at the rim, dunk attempts or layup attempts. But yeah, I would like to see Max play more. We played a little Max and Cam together, and I like that. I just more get some defense, get some athleticism, get some point of attack, defense out there. But JJ wanted to, go with the offense. He leaned into that again, and I thought he could live with kind of Franz taking tough shots. And honestly, like it almost worked out. Franz hit a tough 3 on one end. He hit some tough floaters over AD. And again, you hit your free throws, Anthony. It's funny. We're not talking about any of this, right? We're talking about a 7-game win streak. We're talking about, Dalton's ascension. We're talking about, when's the last time they won 7 games in a row. So, yeah, it sucks that this is the vibe after, them playing pretty good basketball with, some starters out. And basically adding a whole new rotation player in Dalton through this stretch. But yeah, rough one.
Well, it was one. All right. So silver lining to this team has gotten me to the point where I care again. This game ended and I sat there in silence for a solid 3 minutes, knowing that it's like, shit, I got to go set up the show. I got to set up the graphics. I got to set up the background. I got to set up all these things. Knowing that I needed to do that, I just like sat there on my couch with my ears ringing because like, oh, like I haven't felt that in a little while. So if we're looking for like silver linings here, it's that like this team through that run, through that winning streak, because of what we've seen from Dalton, like that window was starting to kind of like crack open a little bit, But
Yeah.
but what this game I thought serves as a reminder for is that like this team clearly, this roster clearly needs a few extra ingredients. You can't have a Gabe on your team who is just a complete non-factor offensively, and he's way too small to play the kind of defense that he would need to play to make up for how bad he is offensively. You can't have a D'Lo who, like, his super strength is going, ballistic and dropping 12 points in like 5 possessions. When was the last time he scored 12 points, or how often has he gotten to 12 points this season? It's just this stretch has been fun. This stretch is, I think, reminded us what LeBron and AD are capable of. But I think what tonight's game should, tell people is that, like, job's not finished, right? Like there's still a lot of work that Rob needs to do.
100%. And again, like there's a different universe here where 80 makes both, and again, our conversations are we have the best duo in the league. Like that's more the vibe of this.
I still would have been. I mean, I
you would have been
annoyingly
upset
so,
for sure.
I would be making these points, and the comment section would be like, "Just shut the fuck up, Anthony."
For sure,
like,
for sure.
So like, but like, because Raj, like, I want Austin to be. I have wanted Austin to be the point guard for years now, plural. I have wanted them to supply him with a point of attack, a point of attack defender who can knock down threes. I like there's
it
a
feels like a
version
low
of this,
bar. Like it doesn't feel like that high of a bar to find.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But like there's a version of this team that I could really, really buy into, and it's just not there yet. And I'm not saying the last how many did they win in a row? 6? The last 6 wins, they aren't fool's gold, but they also were like, there were clear notes that you could, have with each game to this point. And it's like, yeah, you got to win the games that are in front of you. But like thinking that this was some finished product, like if Rob, I saw that Rob did an interview the other day with Spectrum. And normally that's what he does when he's like, look at what we did here.
Got him.
look at this team. How good did I do? Geeter, give me high five. Like it's like, no, man. Like we're still waiting for a 5th player in the closing lineups here. Rui isn't that guy. Like he doesn't play defense consistently enough to be that. Max isn't that guy. I want Max to be that guy, and they need Max to be that guy to a certain extent. But he isn't, because for whatever reason he forgot how to shoot, and that's kind of hurting. It can't be Gabe, because this isn't the yellow brick road, and Lil Munchkins can't play in this league and not score. It can't be D'Lo, because he is still clearly kind of figuring out how to thrive in this role, and like he can't look uncomfortable. Like the 5th player in that group can't look uncomfortable offensively because he doesn't have the ball in his hands. So it can't be D'Lo. Just like, who is that 5th guy going to be? Is that 5th guy currently playing for the Brooklyn Nets? Is that 5th guy currently playing for the Washington Wizards? Whatever this team might look like I was really kind of hoping we would get some Koloko AD minutes tonight, because of the type of front court that Washington had out there, and because of how physically Orlando was in crashing the boards. But like, it's just, I'm also asking for Christian Koloko, which I think is kind of like indicative of the issue.
He's solid. Like, no, there's nothing fancy about him. He just rebounds, runs the floor, finishes, when he gets the ball. Again, I feel like backup bigs, that should be their job anyway. D'Lo, by the way, shooting 30% from 3 on the season, which again, that's gonna pick up eventually. At least it should. He's he's 2 for his last 20. I do my math right? 2 for his last 15 from 3, which that's rough. But again, what I meant by like it would feel different is I think the Dalton stuff also would feel different if they lost against New Orleans, right? Or like if those games turned out to be losses. I feel like those games would just feel, the vibe would feel different. The Lakers still, I think they could have the best duo in the league. And yeah, there's the fifth guy's not there. My main thing with this, Anthony, is like the Lakers are in a position where they need to rack up early season wins, so they're not fighting for a playing spot. That's like my main concern. The seeding will figure itself out in terms of that, but like that's the main thing they should be rooting for. And yeah, giving up these losses, early to teams that you won this game. Like this was a game that you should have won. 5 free throws down the stretch that you missed, I believe, in the final 3 minutes or whatever it was. You gave this game away. And Orlando fought hard. Franz Wagner fought hard. The fifth guy, I think this team is good enough right now. They're not a contender status, but then look at the West, Anthony. It's like the number 1 seed is the Warriors. Who looked at that roster and was like, that's a title contender. I don't think most people did. Number 2 seed is the Houston Rockets.
Mm-hmm.
They're led by a bunch of young players, right?
OKC just got Hartenstein back. I think they're about to go on a run.
Sure,
I think we're about to watch like OKC rack up, like do what you're talking about and rack up. Like it wouldn't surprise me if we look up and OKC wins like 10 in a row.
Sure, they might. They definitely have the roster, and Shea's going to be in MVP conversations again. But again, that's a team I think the Lakers find themselves in good position against if they play them. But you just look down. I mean, the West, Houston Rockets are the Suns are without KD for a while. So again, this is a chance. Minnesota just lost tonight in Utah, and some weird stuff happened with Gobert again, with him and Julius Randle. So like the West is also in this like place where a lot of teams are kind of a piece or two away. And I feel like the Lakers are finding out, like, if Dalton's real, then yeah, these are like, if you can find one wing and really a backup center, and I think this team is cooking with some grease. Even if D'Lo's on the team, I think his production becomes less and less a necessity than it is now. But yeah, that's what makes it so tough, Anthony. We should be talking about 7-game win streak like this. Like we should not be. We should be talking about that. We should be talking about how like you have a chance to beat Denver, who is playing okay basketball. Like they're not playing great. They were on like a 3-game win streak and then lost recently. I forgot who the team was. That should be the conversation. It should be about Dalton Connect, Anthony having 17 points, hit 3 threes against a team that was face guarding him the whole night.
Mm-hmm.
The Spectrum, for some reason, their mics have gotten really hot in the recent like games, and the whole game, all I hear is the other team's coach. So Jamal Mosley is absolutely screaming every time Dalton Connect is like an inch open. He's like, get up,
Yep.
get up, like super loud. So I wish
But that's what makes the fifth guy so frustrating, is like that kind of fire alarm shooter completely unlocks what
changes
JJ's
everything.
offense can be, right? Like it completely changes the math on and like I would love to see, because I saw there was a graphic I saw on Twitter today that was like the best pick and roll tandems in the league, and I think LeBron and AD are in like the top 5. That was something that like did not exist with Darvin. That teams were basically just like either going under the pick and roll and forcing LeBron to be a 3-point shooter, or they would just switch the pick and roll and you wouldn't really gain much of an advantage. But now, like, the Lakers are scoring like 1.08 points, or 1.1 points per possession on pick and rolls with LeBron and AD. I don't know what the number is after tonight. Lakers scored plenty of points, but like like I think I would love to see what their success rate is in the pick and roll with Dalton on the court and with Dalton off of the court, because that pick and roll, if you have, if LeBron starts a pick and roll on the left side of the court and is dribbling to his right, and you have Dalton in the right corner over there, like that defender has an impossible, that defender's in an impossible spot. Do I shade off of this guy and have my coach screaming at me for shading off of this guy, or do I let LeBron get a path to the basket to where either he can finish at the rim or AD gets the lob over the top? And the other option out there, the other guy out there is Austin, who's a good shooter in his own right. Just give me a guy who can knock down, like, who can also stretch the defense from the opposite corner, or can viably hit that 3-pointer from the opposite corner if LeBron decides to throw that crazy skip pass across the court there that he can. Give me and let that guy also be able to defend a little bit. If the Lakers had that player, if they would have one of the best 5-man lineups in the league. And it would be the kind of 5-man lineup that you could ride all the way through to whatever position that you want to get to in the postseason, because you have LeBron and you have AD, so long as those guys both stay healthy. And it's like, maybe it's Cam Johnson, maybe it's Dorian Finney-Smith, maybe it's both of them. But right now, the problem is, like, Rui can knock down that shot, but he's been bad defensively. Or Max has been really good defensively, but he doesn't necessarily knock down that shot at the level that he needs to. Cam has knocked down that shot. He's been actually a really good catch and shoot 3-point shooter, but eventually he's going to regress to the mean, and that's going to hurt, but he's also been excellent defensively. So maybe you rely on that. And then, the other guys like Jared Vanderbilt, who obviously, isn't going to knock down that corner shot, but is going to be really good defensively. Give me the 3-and-D wing who completes that lineup, and watch this team get completely unlocked to the point where everybody's like, holy shit, the Lakers are a real contender. And how long have we been having this conversation now for, Raj? How long have we been waiting for that player to show up?
Yeah. And again, I don't know, I'm tired of asking for this, but I would love to see Vando with that unit. I know he can't shoot a 3, but his size, because again, Cam's a really good defender, but he's very slender. So like a guy like Franz can really put him in the basket.
Yeah.
But Vando's like really nicely sized and can guard, and is just there again, sitting there with the loudest gray shirt, on the bench. But I would love to kind of see him. Before I forget, they had this play, Anthony, tonight, where they keep going to it, where like Dalton sets the back screen for AD while LeBron, is running the action as a stack action, and Orlando like had no clue what to do. Everyone flew at Dalton, and like LeBron had a drive, and AD also had an open lob if he wanted, and LeBron went and dunked the basketball. It's just Dalton changes like everything. And it doesn't mean that Austin's still not important and all that. And I still believe in like Austin, LeBron, AD as a very high functioning trio. And to your point, they scored way more than enough tonight. Orlando, I think, was like the 29th or 28th ranked offense in the league. And Franz maybe just had a special night too. You got to give him credit. Jalen Suggs shooting 31% from 3, hit 5 of 10, which like, and every single one he acted like he meant to. It's just that one, those kind of numbers hurt. But yeah, it's rough. I know what your point. I see your point with the 5th starter. Like I get that. I think again, there's enough talent here where they should be able to ride at least this level of winning. We'll see when Rui gets back how that fit goes. JJ talked before the game, said he's Rui's. What you predicted. Rui will be back with the starters. So my guess would be, him and Dalton start together for a while, but yeah, this one is just this one is rough. You get this one and you're like cooking because you have Denver up, but then maybe you can kind of split some of the games against Denver and Phoenix, and then you can kind of run over San Antonio. But yeah, now this makes Anthony the Denver one kind of, you got to bounce back, because then after that you're out on the road again.
The Lakers schedule here, and again, like, this is why you got to win the games. They won this game, Raj. If they make one more free throw, okay, at worst you're going to overtime. Or if you make 2 more free throws, the game is just over, right? Austin missed 2 free throws down the stretch. LeBron, split his, and then AD missed all of his. But like, the upcoming schedule that we're looking at here for the Lakers is tough, man. Like, I thought this was the game that they kind of needed, because you have Denver next. They're getting Jokic back. He was questionable tonight. He had his wife had a kid, so like he was out having a kid.
Oh man, he's
The
getting
next,
that new dad strain too. Oh man, God,
yeah,
he's
like he's
enough.
doubling his dad's strength. But and like the amount of like frustration that he's gonna have to take out on the team that he plays first because he hasn't like gotten enough sleep. I'm telling you, like this is gonna it might get ugly. And he's already like averaging a triple double. The
Right.
next one after that is Phoenix. They're obviously very different without KD in the lineup. They've kind of slipped up a little bit in over their last like 5 or 6 games. So that should be a win, but it's on the road. The Lakers have looked like a completely different team on the road. Second night of a back-to-back in San Antonio. Not sure if Wemby will be back by then. He's dealing with that knee contusion. Maybe you get lucky and he isn't ready to go. And then the day after Thanksgiving, you have Oklahoma City, who is already really good, and now they have Hartenstein back, and they have like a viable professional center now, who is not Jalen Williams. That's your next 4 games, and if you let's say you go 2-2 there, right now you're 12-7, cool. But if you go like 1-3, now you're 11-6. Or if you lose all 4, now you're 10-9. And all of that work that you did to get to 10-5, or even better, had they been 11-4 here, now you have that extra little wiggle room. And they did all of the work necessary to be 11-4 right now. They just shat the bed, went full Paul Pierce and crapped themselves at the free throw line. And it just, these are the games that like you cannot lose. Especially, we didn't even mention this, Raj. Paulo didn't play. Their
Neither did
best player didn't
KCP.
play in this game.
KCP was out too. Yeah.
Well, he sucked this year so far. But like, but Paulo, like, not having Paulo, and losing to them because Franz Wagner dropped, what was it? What did we say earlier? Was it
37. Mhm.
37 and 11 on you? Like, again, we're going to get to like April and the Lakers are going to be fighting for a playoff spot or a better play-in spot or a better playoff spot. And you're going to look back on the schedule and you're going to be like, damn it, shit. That one stupid loss where if they just make 2 free throws down the stretch, they win.
Yeah.
How
they were,
nervous are you about like the free throw issue? Because remember that one season with AD
yeah,
where
seasons ago.
his free throw percentage just kept dropping over like the later in the game he was taking free throws, the worse he was at it. We know he's a very mental player. How nervous are you that we're going to dip back into that trend again?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too nervous, at least right now. I think he's playing really well and he's playing super confident that this happens. I mean, players gonna miss free throws. I think you mentioned it earlier. I think just a combination of like him missing 2 and Austin, like that was a pretty bad omen, I guess, looking back now. Early in the game, Austin missing 2 is pretty rare. And then obviously
Yeah.
LeBron kind of always, as great as he is, it's weird. Like he dominated everything but the free throw line somehow in his career. Even have Laker fans going, yeah, just split it and we won there. But LeBron splits the free throws, 80 misses both. I'm not concerned. And this brings up what you were just mentioning, Anthony. We already have one of those type of losses, and that's the Detroit game. That's another one where you just that's a bad team that you let beat you. Just because you didn't give the requisite effort. So they're already kind of behind in terms of that. But yeah, this is another one. I'm not worried about the free throws yet. I think 80 will be fine. Again, 39 tonight. And honestly, like, and I know the free throws are like the eventual outcome, but like we lost this game on the defensive end. Like in totality, when you just look at this, the guard defense was, I thought, terrible, and it really kind of shined a light on just one like wing defender would just change this team's life. And it's not like you mentioned the names earlier, like Dorian Finney-Smith isn't some like world class, player. Right. And they probably won't even get a first round pick for him, I would assume. I'm not really, in those channels. But yeah, again, like a guy like that, bringing him, like, it's just like when we brought in D'Lo and Malik Beasley, it just changed that team's life. One wing player, and that wing player could be Vando as well. I'd be fine with that if Vando ever, is able to run, soon. Like that's a player that I think could fit a lot of these kind of holds as well. Rui getting back, I do think helps. Rui coming back and Dalton being this legitimized takes one of the guards out. It just has to. Not enough minutes to go around. Like just
Yeah.
Anthony Dalton played 39 minutes tonight.
Mhm.
39 minutes. 39 minutes. 10 games ago he played 9. Like the ascension that he's gone through is absurd. But yeah, Rui coming back at least helps mitigate some of those issues where it's not just we're just so small on some of these second units.
Yeah, the number I keep on looking at is Koloko playing only 10 minutes. You know,
Mm.
and even if it isn't Koloko specifically, but like the Lakers need a viable backup center who JJ trusts to play more than 10 minutes. And I didn't think Koloko was bad tonight. Like he was a
Did his job.
-1 in 10 minutes. Like I thought he was relatively okay.
Minus
Like,
one is like a prayer. Like that's incredible. -1
yeah.
and 9 AD minutes. That's you take that every single night. Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought he was contesting well at the rim. I thought the
Yeah.
Magic made look, they have good guards. Suggs is a good guard, and like I thought they made some tough shots. I thought they made some good floaters over the top of them. I didn't like watch that game and think like Koloko didn't belong out there, and you know, like I know people aren't probably going to like this comment, but it reminded me of kind of a Darvin game where he convinces himself that like all of the talent resides in the small people when like size matters in basketball. And he keeps trying and coaches, I think in this modern era of basketball, keep trying to fit square pegs into round holes, you know, so that they can maintain like spacing and stuff like that and ball handling on the no, like give me like I feel like you have a higher baseline with a bigger guy out there, given the way that Orlando was playing in this one, than you do when you have like D'Lo out there who can't shoot. A D'Lo who
Yeah.
can't shoot is not an NBA player. You know, I'm sorry, that's just the truth.
Yeah.
You know, like a Gabe Vincent who isn't shooting is not an NBA player. So get somebody out there who's at least big enough to like to you know take away a couple possessions away from Orlando. Because if Orlando has like one or two fewer possessions in this one, this is also over. You know,
Yeah.
but they were creating new possessions. What did they have? They had offensive rebounds. They had 15 offensive rebounds in this one.
Yeah.
They grabbed 48 rebounds to the Lakers 36. You know, like and you know, you look at some of the lineups that the Lakers were playing out there where you had, you know, Max at the 4 or Dalton at the 4 or Gabe at the 3 or D'Lo at the 3, and it's like, yeah, that's how you arrive at a place where Orlando has, you know, 15 extra possessions by way of offensive rebound.
Yeah, I don't know if you if you remember this play, but like Gabe pump fake, sidestep, wide open 3, and then
Yeah.
pass it up, and oh, that made me go crazy. And
Well,
again,
then
like
he passed it to D'Lo, who also passed up
oh
his
yeah,
shot.
yeah, D'Lo passed it up as well, and D'Lo took some. Like we were on a huge run, Anthony. We had all the momentum. I think we were up 10 or 8, and the ball swung. And D'Lo took like a contested 3. I was like, no, and then Orlando went on the other end. I think hit a 3. Yeah, I mean, like Koloko again. I expecting more than 10. I think is a lot out of him. Also, like the Orlando's a little different because they run a lot of inverted, like they run out of screens for Franz and just a lot of off ball actions and their guards screen, like they make sure you get hit. And so a lot of that causes miscommunication, excuse me, and like switches. So I think that's why he didn't really want, more size. And he went to Gabe, he went to Max. And again, we were scoring at such a pace. I felt like JJ, I'm not saying he got so comfortable, but again, he was experimenting. He put Dalton Connect on their guy who was cooked, like had red fire beaming out of his head, and went, you know what, Dalton, go guard him.
Yeah.
And so, and again, I felt like that was some experimentation and also to like get away from the screening stuff, and it backfired because eventually he's like, that doesn't work. And I got to put Cam Reddish in the game now to, as the fire extinguisher. And, Cam got dotted in the eye at the end by Franz, but I thought he did as solid of a job as you could. But yeah,
Well, it's
this
also
game's
such a tough spot. Like Cam hadn't played
impossible.
in like 10 minutes, and then it's like, hey, go
Yeah, go
contend this
guard him.
guy who has fucking lasers shooting out of his back, out of his backside. Like, good luck, bud.
Yeah.
Like it's an impossible ask.
Would you have doubled? Would you have doubled him at the end, Franz? Would you have sent two? I would have at
Yeah,
least made him drive, right? Like the three was you had to know the three was coming. Like
yeah,
that he was so
yeah.
hot and
Well,
feeling
that's
himself.
where it's tough because like Cam hadn't played in forever.
Yeah, no
And
rhythm.
like he just all right, Cam, go out there and face guard this guy or play this guy super duper close. I think the Magic were in the bonus too. So like, all right, either play this guy super close and probably, get yourself a foul or take one half step back. And that half step winds up being the difference between, it was a pretty good contest. I thought it was but it
Yeah,
was, he had Franz had a good look at it. And it was
he
too
also
good of a
stepped
look
back.
for somebody who was going the way that he was.
Yeah, 6'10" guy does a through the legs step back who's already taller than you. Like you're not getting you're not getting that great a contest anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just at least give me overtime. If that shot goes up, it's over.
Yep. All right. Let's go ahead and answer some of these starred comments, which means we at least get to pick up the mood with this. I also didn't say it earlier in the show before we get to those starred comments. But we just signed an agreement here with Underdog Fantasy and use that promo code Lounge to be able to get a 50% deposit match on that first deposit. I played tonight. Got some donut money for Avery betting on the Lakers, or
Okay, good.
that going Lakers overs in that one. So I have some really cool stuff lined up. Whether it's like actually playing with you guys in some of these, they make it so that like you could set up rooms so that we can all kind of play against each other, or talk about some of the big wins or the tough losses that we get by having some fun here off to the side on that stuff. But yeah, keep an eye out for more of that. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive into some of these super comments. German Rathor writes, or German, maybe? I don't know. JJ Redick is an idiot for keeping D'Lo in the game for that long. Wagner was cooking us the entire game. Well, D'Lo isn't going to really help with Wagner killing. Oh, well, I guess Franz Wagner. I was thinking Mo. Like I thought Mo created some problems with like extra possessions and stuff.
Yeah,
Him and like Goga in this one, I think led the way. Yeah, led the way with plus 13 in this one, and I think
he was
that's
great.
all offensive rebounds. Like it's all extra possessions. He grabbed 4 offensive rebounds in this one. Mo grabbed 4 offensive rebounds of his own. Those are 8 extra possessions that the Magic had over the Lakers, and that's how you overcome 70 points combined from LeBron and
Yeah.
AD.
And Goga, like just comparing to our situation, the Magic are without Wendell Carter Jr., right? Who I
Yeah.
believe is their normal starting center, but they have a legit backup guy they can go to. And Goga starts and he's trusted and he does his job very well. Was super physical with AD. Again, they allowed Orlando a lot of physicality. A lot of offensive rebounds. The comparison, Anthony, of Goga swishing the free throw like that he went up and took, and that the Lakers can't get theirs, is sticking in my mind.
It hurts. All right. Justin Tyndall writes, thought AD should have fought for the switch harder for like 5 seconds. You knew he was going to do the step back 3. Yet another Gabe masterclass with the sarcasm emoji there. Did AD
Yeah, so
have
eight
an
so
opportunity there?
he did. Yeah, so actually Cam didn't start on Franz. I think it was 80 on him, or was it Max? I forget, but they got a switch, and so they just left Cam, which, again, that's not a terrible matchup, but I thought all night, Anthony, I thought we gave up the switch way, way too easily. Orlando got whatever they wanted in switch actions. I couldn't tell if we were like legit switching or we were just giving up the switch on some of those. Like it's a little tough to tell, but Orlando was in the advantage on that.
Yeah, I think I think some of that's a personnel thing. You know, when you have D'Lo out there, when you have Austin out there, when you have Connect out there, you're better off playing a switch than you are hoping those guys fight through a screen. I'm just like theorizing here.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if like that's kind of the approach there. But yeah, I mean, if AD is guarding Franz there in that moment, um, you tell him, I don't care if you knock, because if you knock the screener over, worse, like you're tied. You know,
right.
although if you knock the screener over before the ball is inbounded, technically they would get the ball back after shooting a free throw, and
Yeah.
then you're really, really
Oh,
screwed.
yeah, I think the ball was already inbounded though, if I remember.
Yeah.
So I think AD was on him, and they credit to Orlando, a lot of screening in this one. But yeah, I was tired of all the easy
I also
switches they got.
I also didn't like the screens that the Lakers were setting. I thought they fell back into some bad habits with some of those, like,
Yeah, weak
sideways
screens.
screens that, like, you may as well pat somebody on the butt as they go back and they're able to remain on the guy that they're guarding.
Right.
Alex Chavez writes, one game was the difference last year for the play-in seeding. Yeah, this is, I know people on Twitter like to just say, oh, it's a long season, it's all this stuff. It's like, but the reality is, like, you're not a football fan, Raj, but like the reason that the NFL is such a great product or college football is such a great product is because, like, you live and die with each win or loss because you don't know what the ramifications are going to be at the end of the year. And, the NBA isn't quite that extreme, but in the Western Conference this year, it's going to be pretty damn close. And
It
for
is.
like the Western Conference, it's always, that close. So, uh, losing a game that you basically played 47 minutes and 40 seconds of winning basketball for, and then just choke it away with free throws at the end of the season. I'm telling you guys, here's the thing. The Lakers could have a good season and you could be like, shit, they could be like a 2 seed if they didn't lose that stupid game to Orlando, or they could, it's just one of those things that, like, at the end of the year, you're going to look back on this loss, and no matter how the season goes, unless you're a 1 seed, if the Lakers are a 1 seed, I think we'd be okay with, this win. But I don't think they're going to be a 1 seed. And I don't necessarily think, I think at best they're going to be fighting for home court in the first round. And so, like, if they're fighting for home court in the first round, and the difference in having it and not winds up being this stupid game that they lost because they missed free throws, that's gonna suck. Like, it's math is math, a win is a win is a win.
Hey, just beat Denver. I'll forgive this one a little bit more. Beat Denver on
Yeah.
Saturday
Just go out there and beat the
convincingly.
guy who's averaging a triple-double at the position, who,
Yes.
like, historically gives Anthony Davis, like,
Hey,
specifically all of the
we are
ball.
due, Anthony. We are due for a win against Denver. We are absolutely due. We're like
Look,
1 for 13 against
tell you
Denver.
what. They play what on Saturday?
Yeah, they play on Saturday.
If they beat Denver on Saturday, I'll do a post-game show. And I'll hop on here and I'll say everything that I said about that Orlando loss. Well, not everything. I don't take it all back because, like, that loss.
You're that confident in a loss on Saturday. Like, you find it, that you think that's like a pretty guaranteed loss.
I don't like the Denver matchup, man. Like,
even with the Russell Westbrook.
What's the Lakers record over the last 3 years against Denver?
But it's a different Denver team though. No KCP, right?
Sure.
Now they have Russell Westbrook. Jamal Murray's not the same Jamal Murray.
Is or is not Nikola Jokic playing for the Denver Nuggets?
That's all. That's it. That's the only thing.
Raj,
yes.
Like, how many different iterations of the Cavs did the Raptors lose to all the time? Like,
but we're not the Raptors. Like that.
If the guy that you're going against is like that dude and Jokic is that dude, that's the part that matters. That's why this game is so stupid. That's why this loss is so painful. Is because of it, because you lost this one. Now you're looking ahead to Saturday and you're like, man, kind of sort of need to win that one. I don't want to feel that way about a fucking game against Denver. Like, I would rather go into it. It's like, hey, if we win, cool. If we not, all right, we're still on schedule.
We have one of those dudes too. We're not the Toronto Raptors. We don't have DeMar DeRozan. Respect to DeMar DeRozan, but like it's not DeMar DeRozan on our side. We have AD and LeBron on our team, and I think that's a worse Denver team. I'm not saying like again Denver. I don't even think Denver would be favored. Honestly, I'm not sure. I gotta look at the line, but yeah, at least I think it's at least a worse Denver team. I could see. Look, it could still happen. It could still happen where like
also
Jokic
playing better than maybe he has ever in his career.
That dude's not a real person. Like I watch Denver play. It's just dude hits every three, every floater, just makes every correct pass.
% from 3-point range this year.
It's so dumb. Russ kills all the spacing and doesn't matter. Like he just still scores through 4 people. But we should still have a chance on Saturday.
No, I'm not saying they don't have a chance, but like some fuckery is going to happen at the end of the game. Jokic is going to make a left-footed falling down 3-pointer from 47 feet that cripples, just hurts me psychologically. All right, last one here from Justin Tyndall, who writes, what is it going to take for Gabe to be benched because he offers nothing on the floor? Surely he's benched Rui on return, as both he and Dalton need 30 minutes. So like I said the other day, it looks like, JJ basically kind of confirmed my theory on how this is going to go when Rui comes back, that, they're going to give Rui an opportunity. He didn't say that Dalton wasn't going to start. So there's a possibility that you would get.
Oh, they're both starting.
There's a possibility. Like I've always thought, because of how it went with D'Lo, that you would have Dalton starting. So it'd be Austin, Dalton, Rui, LeBron, and AD, and we'll see how that group kind of looks. And then I would say probably like 4 or 5 games after that, after JJ, I think he's going into that with the thought that maybe it's best to go back to the starting group that has just won 6 in a row before this really should have won 7 in a row. Or I guess they, Rui got hurt mid-winning streak, but still, they were on a winning streak, should have continued that winning streak here tonight. And then we'll see kind of after the next sample size stacks up what decision needs to be made there. If Vando is ever healthy and ready to go too, what impact that has on some of the decisions. But the question here that Justin is asking him is, has to do with Gabe, and I'm cool never watching that dude play basketball again. I'm at that point.
All right,
I can't do it. I know. In a 24-second shot clock, good offenses create one really good look per possession.
If you're lucky. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you pass up on that look, you completely gum up all of your options before and after that look. And because before you're going to be looking for that look, and then you pass up on that look, and now you're scrambling to try to recreate that look. And what defenses are going to start doing is like, well, Gabe doesn't want to shoot it, so we'll just give him that look. And it's hard. Like, I don't know what scorekeeper listed him or doctor listed him at 6'4". You're a liar. You're a liar, an outright liar. That man is 6'1" tops. I stood next to him in San Antonio. That guy is not like I Jovan and I were walking along the sideline there. Jovan is taller than Gabe.
Yeah.
I like noticeably taller than him.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. Gabe is not 6'4".
Can you get shorter? Like, do you shrink in your 30? Can you shrink before your 30s? Like, can 20 to 30?
My favorite example of this was always Iverson.
Okay.
Right? Who was listed at 6 foot. He's shorter than I am. I'm 5'10". He's shorter than I am.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I've been in a room with Iverson. He's shorter than I am. Now he's probably shrunk a little bit since his playing days.
Yeah.
And he always wears such baggy clothing. He's kind of slumped over a little bit too. So maybe that's a factor there. But these guys do lie on their height. And I'm telling you right now, either Gabe or the doctor who measured him is a liar. He is not 6'4".
Yeah, that's Miami got him. Was like, what in the world is this? It's like
Like,
6'1".
Jalen Suggs was doing like the older brother, like, hand on his face, like, he was like, hand on Gabe's face, and Gabe was like waving, to try to stop him and stuff like that. Jalen's just shoving him into a locker every possession here. What's Jalen Suggs listed at? Jalen is
Gotta be like 6'4" or
all
6'5".
right. It says he's 6'5".
That makes sense though. Jalen
More
Suggs,
sense than Gabe, who is listed at no. So ESPN has him at 6'2". Who has him at 6'4"?
I think Google when you Google his height has him at 6'4".
All right, Gabe Vincent.
Oh, 6'2". Okay. Maybe
That's
forgot who
still.
had.
I still think he's only like 6 foot.
Okay, Basketball Reference has him at 6'3". So we're going up. They have him at 6'3".
Basketball
Also,
Reference. Get your shit figured.
yeah,
All of you people, get your shit
get
figured
it
out,
right.
because even 6'2" seems a little tall.
Right. He's not 6'3". This is almost impressive, Anthony, though. Like 14 minutes, 0 shots, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 steals. It literally did not occur a point in the box score. That's almost impressive. Like to go out there for 14 minutes and literally do not get a single stat. It's sad. Like, and he was shooting well too. He had a game where he just hit, I believe, a 3 or 2 threes. To pass up threes, his confidence is shot. And yeah, we just need a forward back. Rui was coming back soon, hopefully. I think he was questionable today or close or whatever it is. So I think Rui coming back ends the Gabe Vincent experiment, especially with Max playing so well now. That like before it was like, well, Max is playing so bad, you got to play Gabe. Max has overtaken that for sure.
Do you have Gabe's game log in front of you?
I do, yeah.
All right. Well, shit. That sucks, because
Okay,
I'm going to ask you a trivia question here that I wish you didn't have the answer to.
okay.
But
What
if
were
you
gonna-
had, damn it, this sucks. If you had to guess how many games this season Gabe has made 3 or more field goal attempts,
Okay,
what number would you get to?
I would have probably guessed like 3.
0.
Oh, he's never made 3 field goals.
Not this season.
Okay,
He's
wow.
made 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
Wow.
He's made 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. He has not made 3 or more field goals in the same game ever this season. He has not had a game where he attempted double digit shot attempts. He is just a complete non-factor. Like, it's one thing to suck offensively, but he doesn't want to shoot. 3-pointers so far this year. How many games has he made 2 3-pointers in this year?
1.
No, none.
Okay.
He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games where he's made 1 3-pointer, 0 games where he has made 2 of them.
Yeah.
It's just he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games where he hasn't made any 3-pointers. He's had 1, 2, 3 games where he hasn't even attempted a 3-pointer. He's playing 17 minutes a game, Raj.
I've never seen anything like this. Like I know, and some people brought up like maybe he's still not healthy or like no, like the health I think is fine now. Like he's moving well, he's defending well. You watch him on that Miami team, and that was like one of the most. I remember when we got him, I was like Austin and Gabe is like the most like they got dog in them backcourt. Like they're just super fearless guards, and like to go from that become like a fearless shot maker to a guy that like has to be forced to shoot. It's just it's sad. And his defense, no matter how good it is, it's just at 6'1", there's a level that you can. There's a bar of defensive, skill that you can get to. And he's not there. He's not Drew Holiday. He's not Derek White. He's like a fine guard defender. But yeah, I know you said you're done. Like he still has another year on his deal, so it's kind of like so he might go through this whole charade again next year, depending on if they can't use him as matching salary. Is there a world where he's like out the league in a year? Like, that's it's kind of insane, right? Like Lakers use their biggest free
No,
agent.
I think he'll go to Miami one more time.
Okay, they'll welcome him back.
They always reacquire players.
You think they'll hug like you did it, man? Job,
Yeah.
like mission accomplished.
You know what? There. You know what? The Lakers are about to give Pat Riley a statue. Fuck that. Gabe is reason enough to not give Pat Riley a statue. Like that's it.
What if Pat's like, you think I just didn't pay him just because like
No, if I were Genie, I'd be like, hey, no warning, none whatsoever. Not like we're thinking about signing this guy, Pat. What do you think? Go for it, Genie. It's gonna work out great. Ass, fine. Your statue is gonna be the guy who played you in the Winning Time show. It's not gonna be you. It's gonna be freaking the actor. Who's the actor who played Pat Riley in Winning Time? Adrian Brody. Your statue is going to be Adrian Brody because of Gabe Vincent, Pat Riley. You dickhead.
Congrats, Pat, on the statue.
In a Kohl's, in a suit that you would buy from Kohl's. No Armani suit. All right. That on that note, perfect place to end this thing. On that note, that is going to do it here for this episode of the Lakers Lounge and this week's episodes of the Lakers Lounge. Two quick programming notes before we get out of here. Again, a reminder about Underdog Fantasy. We'll have more information on that over the next week or so as we iron out the final segment kinks and all of that stuff. I'm also, so what the lowdown has become this very conversational, albeit solo show. And that's not really what the lowdown was supposed to be. So what I'm thinking I'm probably going to do, and I'm working with Odyssey to figure out how to actually execute this, is I'm probably going to record actual lowdown episodes the way that they were back when I was at Silver Screen, where those are 7-minute, get in, get out with the information that you need. Start your morning with that every day. And then we'll have actual conversational lowdowns that are a little bit, that are a little bit longer. They're live. They're what the lowdown has become anyway. But those are just going to be lounge shows instead of calling them lowdowns because of how long they are. Again, working out that as well. So keep an eye out for all of that. Please hit that subscribe button wherever it is that you get your podcast, preferably on Odyssey. If you guys are listening or watching live right now on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. And also that like button. If you guys are watching live on Twitter, please head on over to youtube.com/@Lakers Lounge to find the show there. Again, hit the subscribe button there when you get there. And until the next time you guys hear from me, which hopefully, by the way, is on Saturday. Hopefully Saturday we'll be able to break down the Lakers beating the Denver Nuggets. If not, you guys will hear from me on Sunday with a mailbag episode. Get those questions in the form of a 5-star review to iTunes, and I will answer those questions there as well. All right. Raj, you good? You doing all right?
Man.
Did laughing at Pat Riley make you feel a little bit better?
I don't know, because you added Gabe Vincent trauma on top of a bad Orlando loss, and it just made it a little worse. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend. Make somebody else's. We will talk to you. Maybe, hopefully Saturday. I really hope I will talk to you guys on Saturday. Here's Avery.